The Perfection was directed by Richard Shepard, who directed The Matador, stars Allison Williams, Alina Huffman, Logan Browning, and Steven Weber. Yes, the same Steven Weber that was in Wings and also the Shining TV miniseries, and he's been a bunch of other stuff. Logan Browning was in Dear White People, and Alina Huffman was also Black Canary in the television series Smallville. Allison Williams, I recognize her in some stuff. I just can't think of what. Maybe she just looks very, very familiar. Now, I will say, I'm going to get into spoilers here a little bit later. But what caught my eye was the trailer. At first, I thought the trailer looked like shit. It just looked so cheesy. Looked so goddamn ridiculous. I'm like, what the fuck is this? This looks bad. Netflix originals are hit and miss anyway. I don't mind some of them. I did do a review of I Am Mother. You can check that out up here if you would like. And you can vote in the poll above my head if you would like to let me know what you thought of this movie. But what caught my eye was, okay, the trailer looked like shit. Started watching it, okay, it wasn't all that bad. Friend of mine pointed out to me, it says LGBTQ dramas and, thrillers in the, as far as genres. I go, okay, I'm all about pride and everything. And I was like, all right, let's see how well this is represented. Because it could just be something silly. They could just be slapping that on there just to attract supporters or even those that are LGBTQ. Did they represent it well? And that's the thing, they actually did. I am, again, spoilers will be coming a little bit later on. But it starts off with Allison Williams' character Charlotte, who was taking care of her dead mother, opens up with all this stuff. Her mother is dead. Obviously she is thrown off. Any child would be disappointed to lose their parents. And we had to find out, okay, obviously she's distraught, but okay, we suddenly go to this music academy. Suddenly, Charlotte's like trying to figure out, like, how do I introduce myself to these people and this kind of stuff. And she ends up going to this music academy that she used to be a part of, headed by Steven Weber's character Anton. And also Alina Huffman is in there, and she plays Paloma, the character Paloma, which almost sounds like, a weird bath towel or body wash. And I mean the name. But everything seems fine. Charlotte even meets a new project. She sees a giant billboard of her. And it's like, wow, she really seems very good and everything. And they play the cello, as I call it, the giant violin. That's what I call it. The cello, the bass, whatever. Musical instrument, inaccuracies aside. She meets Logan Bryan's character, Lizzie. Elizabeth is the actual name, but Lizzie for short. And sparks seem to fly. They seem to really get along and everything. There's the tease of them possibly getting together and everything, talking about a couple or, people that are committing, adultery right by their spouses, even though their spouses don't even know this is during a bit of a performance in a concert. And then a little bit later, they're going down the stairs and they see one of these guys is like, one of the guys that they saw that was cheating on his wife earlier is suddenly throwing up. He's got a nosebleed, he's throwing up and everything. What the hell is going on with this? One of the people offhandedly mentions that there is a carcinogenic, or something like that. There's a weird airborne virus and everything, which I'm like, well, that's lovely. That's something great that you really want to focus on. It's an airborne virus. That's great. Who wouldn't want to be around an airborne virus and everything? Okay, well, apparently it's some miles down the road and everything, but that's fine. Airborne virus is not like the wind can bring it up or anything. But that weirdness aside, that's a weird subplot that kind of goes somewhere and then kind of doesn't. But, we'll get into it here in a little bit. With the movie, Lizzie says, would you like to come dancing with me? Okay, hey, we should actually do a performance. Anton and his wife, Paloma, want to see that happen. So the old prodigy, Charlotte, and not that she's old, but she, left the academy a while ago, and Lizzie are doing their concert and everything. And interspersed in this is them making out in a stairwell, dancing, and doing the nasty in a freaking hotel room and everything. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that's laying out all that stuff. As far as the LGBTQ stuff, that's pretty much the heaviest. They imply that stuff later, but with this movie, then from there you have they wake up the next morning and everything. They're they're talking about going on a bus tour and everything. Lizzie's talking about that. Lizzie suddenly doesn't feel all that well. What the hell's going on? They still go on this tour. Was it something she ate? She's throwing up. She's freaking out. Is she on drugs? Is she poisoned? Does she have a zombie virus? Is it that weird airborne virus that everybody talked about? Well, they're on this tour and everything, going through these backwoods of wherever the fuck they are. They're just going through the backwoods and everything, and you can figure out the country. They're speaking Mandarin. What the hell else do I need to say? I'm sure a couple other countries speak Mandarin, but location aside, they get dropped off. They get kicked off the bus. Lizzie is just miserable and everything. Charlotte's trying to figure out what's wrong with her. Well, then all of a sudden, she throws up on the bus, and there are maggots in her puke. Holy fuck! What the hell did she eat? She suddenly got bugs crawling out of her arm and everything, and Lizzie's like freaking out. Charlotte says the only way you got to take this. She takes this cleaver that she suddenly just had, chops off her hand. So holy fuck, Lizzie's freaking out and everything. My God, what the hell is going on? And then we flash back and everything, and then we see that Charlotte poisoned her. Why the hell would Charlotte poison her? She's jealous. She's clearly jealous that a new prodigy took over her role after she had to leave to take care of her mother. Or is it? They kind of try to do a little bit of a twist thing, and it's pretty obvious to figure out where it's going. I will say they did the stuff pretty well. But from there, Lizzie manages to make it back to the music academy and everything. Well, she's of no use, and after a few days, she gets kicked out and everything. And goes to Charlotte, and it's like, you did this to me. I'm going to get you. And then she kidnaps her, takes her back. All this stuff happens in this dance place, and boy, things really go fucking south really, really quick. Because it's obvious that Steven Weber's character from the very fucking beginning is a fucking creep. And I'm talking like a pedo creep. And I'm right. I was right. I was right when I saw him, and when I first saw him. I'm not saying Steven Weber specifically, but I'm just saying the way he treated his character and the way he acted. That's what his character is supposed to be. So everything is not what it seems. The movie reminded me very much of trying to do Get Out type twists with the style and the camera shots and stuff like that, and it didn't pull that off all that well. But I will say the performances, even though things were a little bit cheesy and they used the flashback thing twice, it was certainly better than I expected to be. I didn't expect it to be great. I actually expected to fucking hate it. And after a while, I'm like, this isn't that bad. I didn't think it was great. Don't get me wrong, but maybe it's just because my expectations were in the floor. This was actually pretty decent for a Netflix original, especially, and for something that I didn't think that highly of. Basically, what ends up happening is Anton's character gets his comeuppance in the form of almost being completely, ruined and everything. But then they do flashbacks and stuff like that. Oh, and they do this weird credit thing where, they tell the first act, and the first act is mission, and then the other one's detour, and then the third one's home, and then the fourth one is like a duet, and it's like 5 minutes. It's like the last 5 minutes of the movie. It's like they waited they should have done the duet thing a few minutes before, but whatever, I digress. The movie is only 90 minutes long. There are worse uses of your time. Now, I can see why people didn't like this movie. That's totally fine. But with this, again, not going to get into all the details and everything, but I will say that everything works out in the end. There's some violent shit in it, and it actually worked out pretty well. Some of the characters were doing some stupid shit, and it was almost convenient plot devices where it's like, oh, okay, that's why this shit happened, and they rewinded it and told some parts again. So the movie was kind of made of a quarter recycled parts, but still not that bad of a movie. I'm going to say B-. I was really, really surprised by it. I'm not going to say it was great. And I like that they treated the whole LGBTQ, theme with, sincerity, I guess is really what it is. They didn't just use it as, throwing it in your face and, oh, hey, watch it because of this. And they didn't build a movie around it. They incorporated it into the movie. And I think that's always important because it not just LGBTQ stuff, but any sex scenes or any stuff like that. If you don't incorporate stuff decently into a movie, it's pretty bad. And with the LGBTQ stuff, they did. So that was pretty nice. So again, B-. Again, the poll is up there, so please vote on that. I enjoyed those. So anyway, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I am John Ritlin, and I will see you soon.